another victim of Westmead Public Hospital, Princess Mary Cancer Centre. Very tragic, this story.
Profitable.
Yeah, but what about the treatment? They say this causes that causes that, and I know plenty of people who had throat cancer and they never smoked lung cancer.
I will show people something just so that they know I'm actually saying the truth. That's my belly button, and that's my peg. That's my peg button.
So what happened with the peg button?
That's a tube. I had a plastic tube sticking out of my stomach for 5 months, and I would pour goop down the tube.
What did go into the tube?
Insure Plus. It was an Insure Plus. It's designed just barely to keep you alive, really.
Really? So you couldn't eat food?
I couldn't eat food at all. I couldn't swallow. I couldn't even brush my teeth.
How long was this? 6 months?
5 months.
5 months?
I couldn't talk. Couldn't say hello to my wife. Couldn't say hello to my kids.
And was this at home or in hospital?
I was at home most of the time.
And you're at home with this tube going into you for 5 months.
Yeah.
You can't eat. Yeah. You can't do anything.
Couldn't talk.
Look, I'm going to pause this clip.
I had a food.
Nothing else.
No, I had these called Insure Plus, and it would come in a little carton, and I would.
What about water?
That was the water as well.
Water, food, everything.
Everything, yeah.
For 5 months. Yeah. I couldn't imagine that. I couldn't cope with that. I don't think there'd be too many people. You must be a very disciplined person, Graham. Sorry to interrupt you.
It's Grant.
Grant, sorry, I got the chemo fog. Yeah.
What I did do was, as I said before, I was a martial arts instructor for a long time. So what I started to do was I did what I call my Tai Chi Aikido. So I did my Aikido movements in very, very slow form, but I had to do them sitting down. So I was sitting down in Caesar, and I did my Tai Chi Aikido movements for about 2 or 3 hours in the middle of the night and 2 or 3 hours in the middle of the day. So it's about 5 or 6 hours a day. And that gave me something to focus on. You could use Tai Chi if you like, but I don't know Tai Chi, but I know Aikido, so that's what I did. It made my Aikido pretty good, even though I couldn't, and I didn't do it standing up because when I was standing up, I realised how unstable I was, so I didn't like that. So I did it sitting down in Caesar, which is sitting on your feet in that kneeling stance that people do in dojos. I had a very good family, so that was. But I basically was in pretty well lockdown for 5 months. And when I did go back to work, I just helped my wife out a little bit, and I was exhausted by the end of the day. I've got the squamous cell carcinoma up here, the bowel, in that kneeling stance that people do in dojos. I had a very good family, so that was. But I basically was in pretty well lockdown for 5 months. And when I did go back to work, I just helped my wife out a little bit, and I was exhausted by the end of the day. I've got the squamous cell carcinoma up here, the Bowman's cancer on the side, or Bowman's cancer. Whether they're associated, I personally think they're associated with the radiotherapy treatment I had. I don't know whether they are or not. It's just healing up now. I've got some cream to put on it.
I would say, Grant, there's every likelihood that would be caused by the radiation or the chemotherapy.
Yeah,
because you signed a disclaimer before treatment. They warn you that it can give you cancer.
I haven't had a doctor tell me that.
No, I would say educated guess there's every likelihood that was that.
And I also lost 10 teeth over the ordeal because they got burned out by the radiotherapy treatment. It was pretty rough, and a lot of blokes don't survive it.
Pretty rough. It's a nightmare.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
And they not much support. They keep telling you you're going to die. You're dying.
I was told 30 times, I think, before I started treatment that I was going to die at Christmas time. That was Christmas time 2011.
Was that in Westmead Public Hospital?
Yeah.
That's what they do. I had that the same myself.
They didn't actually say you're going to die. They just implied that I was going to make it till Christmas, and then there was a full stop after that.
Well, and also, well, they tell you to be positive.
Oh, look. The thing, when we went out anywhere, and if anybody said, just think positive, my darling wife, who I adore, would take my hand, we would stand, and we would leave. And I would do that because as a martial arts instructor, I can fight pretty well. And she didn't, even in my feeble state, she didn't want me dropping blokes. So I would get the heck out of it. Just think positive. It upset me more than you can believe. And basically, I wouldn't talk to people if I thought that they were going to say that. That was just so upsetting, because there's so much more you can do than just think positive. And the body cannot think positive. The mind cannot think positive while the body is going through negative. It just doesn't work. The body and the mind go together.
You're lying to yourself to say think positive, because you know.
Just so upsetting, because there's so much more you can do than just think positive. And the body cannot think positive. The mind cannot think positive while the body is going through negative. It just doesn't work. The body and the mind go together.
You're lying to yourself to say think positive, because you know that there's nothing positive about it. You understand the sickness. And what's the Cancer Council of New South Wales, they tell you in their book to be positive, be positive. Westmead Public Hospital, they told me, be positive, be positive.
You can have a positive attitude, but you just can't sit there and think happy thoughts while things are going on. It's not what I did when I was on the operating table, on the radiation table, is I took my mind off to either the beach with my family when I was much younger, or mountain training, which I do for Misogi training, which is an Aikido thing. I was up in the mountains doing my Aikido training, and I was quite happy up there. One time, just to see what it was like, I kept my mind on the table, and it was terrifying.
So the bottom line is, after all of this hell on earth, you didn't get what you were expecting. And hadn't have taken the chemotherapy and radiation and done different things, because chemotherapy is an alternative, and same radiation therapy. That's an alternative to good stuff you could have done. I think you'd probably have a better outcome.
I have this argument with my sisters all the time. They say, you had radiation and chemotherapy and you're alive. And I go, yes, I had radiation, chemotherapy and the other stuff, and I am alive. Am I alive because of it? That's the question. I don't know. Could I have been more alive, had more of my teeth still in my head, less of the other stuff? If I'd have gone today, I would follow Dr. Glidden's. Dr. Glidden has it worked out pretty well. Dr. Wallach has it worked out very well. I would go that way. And that's to do with nutrition. And not eating bad foods and eating good foods, and hammering it hard with nutrition. Minerals, amino acids, vitamins, fatty acids and herbs. And they have it worked out very well. And the batting average is, in my opinion, much, much higher.
Okay, Grant. Thank you for this interview, and thank you for telling it from your heart what happened, and I feel for you and your family and any person with cancer. But the question I put now at the end of this video, I put this to Professor Adnan Nagriel at Westmead Public Hospital, and to the New South Wales Health and Research Minister, Brad Hazzard. Let's have a debate about this. If you think that Grant's mistaken or I'm mistaken, please correct us. We urge you to comment in the comments section, and urge you to we'll have an interview with you, Mr. Hazzard, Health and Research Minister, and for that matter, New South Wales Premier Dominic Perrottet. Gladys buried corrupt, Gladys got the sack, and Professor Nagriel from Sydney University, Westmead Public Hospital. We'll sit down and we'll do a recorded interview, and you tell us where you think that this is incorrect, because I think it's on the mark. Okay, then thanks again, Greg, and we'll keep in touch as